Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is the final game of our second semi-final of the Fall Invitational hosted by Swackle. And the two players are Tagada and Turbo2. Boom, straight into the split screen. So we're on Whitefire V2. What a map to decide a series. One of these players will go through to the final. And Turbo is the guy who had a 2-0 lead after the first two maps. And that would be pretty brutal for him to lose this one. And for Tagada to just reverse sweep from 2-0 down. I mean, not unheard of. Might have happened to me at some point in the not so distant past. But yeah, not a good feeling if you get reverse swept even. So let's see if Turbo can avoid that, take out Tagada in what would be something of an upset win, considering Tagada was the winner of the Summer Invitational against Petrig in the final. What was the score? 4-2 maybe? 4-1? Not sure. But yes, let's see. You can find coverage of that tournament. Pretty extensive coverage on my channel. So interestingly, Turbo is not doing what's regular. I mean, it's taking a really long time to take his mass. He's actually doing something that I like to do on this map, which is rush towards this hydrocarbon, but his units are not building. Basically, he has nothing is building except the commander. Complete opposite for Tagada. He sends his first engineer to the reclaim. Every other engineer is building. 0 mexes so far. Started 1 with an engineer, not even the ACU. And he rushed up 12 power generators, then a second land factory, and a third air factory. So, and I mean, that is really ridiculous, the difference here. This is like about as different an approach as you could get between two players on this map, I think. The only thing I would say is that if Turbo went for first bomber, I mean, Tagada would probably rage quit the game and quit FAF for a month because he would be absolutely wrecked. He just has everything here. He would get bombed and he would probably lose like all of his P-gens as well. So just want to point that out. A note for, well, everyone, I guess, that hadn't considered the possibility of first bomber. If you haven't considered the possibility of first bomber Whitefire, you probably are a relatively new player. Well, relatively new, I guess it's a long time since first bomber was as strong as some people remember it to be. A few years at this point. Speaking about the game, there's the openings, very different openings, and Tagada clearly burning through way more of his mass. It's actually almost all gone here. Meanwhile, Turbo has taken very little of his, focused on expansion. He's also got a bomber out. That bomber is going to be shot down by the Sinti. Also, quick transport from Tagada. Intis to screen. Kills a bomber, loses an Inti. He will kill the enemy Inti though, I have no doubt. The transport safely dispatches its cargo. A bit late on the micro there. And Turbo says, I feel like Jagged. Wow. What did I do to deserve this? Is this related to the bomber? Is this related to bad eco balance? I don't know what it is, but clearly his opening has not gone well, and see, it feels like me. I mean, there's only one way I can take that. and that is deeply personally. So friendship ended with Turbo. I am extremely offended by this comment. But actually looking at it, Turbo has more total mass now, which is interesting. Guess it shouldn't be too surprising considering he's now taking... Actually, he does have a decent amount of this wreck left, but clearly he had much faster expansion. Built his base mexes much faster. That's for sure. And he actually has 2 mass extractors upgrading. One, you can see 80%. A second one, 24%. I do like to do that. I do like to make fast mex upgrades on this map. Tagada clearly does not. He's not investing in mass extractors just yet. He really abused the crap out of his reclaim and is doing so again. You can see he's not gonna... He's probably will not need to stop reclaiming. He's spending the mass very quickly. Well, okay, he'll probably build a naval factory at some point here to avoid himself wasting mass. Please, 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 tag it, tag it. Oh my god. Okay. Bit of wasted mass there. And really, I mean... Wow, okay, very late on the hydrocarbon here for Tagada. Turbo already with a frigate in the area. Takes out a mex. Can take out more mexes. This mex is definitely easily killable. This one, you kind of have to be on this side to kill it. I mean, if you're Aeon, it becomes a bit easier, but having to come into this choke point is not great because you're a lot closer to the enemy frigates. So he will get the mex kill, but he'll probably lose a frigate for it. It's questionable how worth it that is, honestly. A little bit questionable how worth it is. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, obviously it's a mirror matchup. I didn't mention they're both Seraphim again. There's been a lot of Seraphim between these two, but you're going to spend a lot of time doing 650 damage to a mex. You're going to take that much damage in return for free, or even a little bit more. Turbo says, I thought you said no phobos. Tagada has sent five Zoos across to the expansion. They have been spotted thanks to a radar, and a tank is dispatched. Tagada is busy talking in the chat to his opponent and not microing the phobos that they're talking about, which is incredible. It's also incredible that that Tham died to this phobo. That's amazing. But yeah, these phobos will do nothing. 2 of them got to land. They traded for 2 Thams. All the reclaim will obviously be turbos, and the other 3 died to a frigate. Not exactly what I would say was a good investment for Tagada. Turbo, 4 T2 mexes already. 2 more upgrading here. Mex upgrades are important, not boring. Never forget that. Quite a lot of power overflow now that this T2 P-Gen is up, and it's time to remedy that. Control K's a whole group of T1 P-Gens. He's also getting rid of a few more over here, so that's a lot of recycled power, and he's going to turn it into mex upgrade here. Probably in the expansion as well. Only 1 upgrading and no assistance at this point. A lot of engineers invested. Still a lot of reclaim to be grabbed. I wonder how Turbo's doing on his side. Yeah, he still has a bit around, quite a bit. But yeah, they're all grabbing all those bits and pieces. Spamming a lot of frigates. It's Whitefire. It's very simple. You abuse your reclaim to differing degrees depending on which player you are. Clearly Turbo did not abuse it to the degree Tagada did, and probably worked out better for Turbo in that way. But yeah, it's about frigates to begin with, and that was a really good fight for Tagada. Definitely a really good fight. But I worry for, well, let's see. It definitely looks like his eco is a little bit behind Turbo. In terms of units, he seems to have more. We got what, 25 frigates. Of course, they have identical units. And okay, the ACU's in the water. Should be quite safe for now. But he's not scouting, so he doesn't know if there's T2 air. I mean, it wouldn't be the absolute strangest thing to see T2 air at this point, but definitely maybe not the norm. So we're claiming a lot more. Okay, he's going for pure T2 power and hydrocarbons, so he's going to get rid of all of his T1P gens. I didn't check how many frigates we have on Turbo's side. He actually has more. He actually has more, and he's finished T2 Navy before, significantly before Tagada has, so Turbo is ahead. Turbo showing that early expansion is working better for him than Tagada's approach of spamming a couple of factories immediately. Maybe if Tagada had gone for the approach that does not fit his style, which would be a drop to the opponent's expansion, maybe it would have paid off better, because he did make a very quick transport, but he only dropped to here. Yeah, you get this a bit faster, but he delayed everything on this side of the map at the same time, so it's questionable whether this even gives him a boost, or if it just brings him part way back to parity in terms of how fast he expanded. Well, it's all gonna come down to the naval micro at this point, and I mean Turbo just has an advantage already. He has more frigates. That's what he's got. He's probably slightly behind on his destroyer production. 62% to 24, so he's about a half a destroyer ahead, as well as having more frigates, so that's a big advantage when you are when this is all that is happening on the map. Tagada asking for income of Turbo. Turbo gonna give it 150. Yeah, okay. Okay, Turbo. There he is in the ally chat with the troll face. 150 my hole, as we say over here. So neither of them giving each other the actual, because obviously why would you tell your opponent the actual income you have? Unless if he really did have 150 and had more navy, then I mean, yeah, you can say whatever you want to him and you're still going to win. Of course, he does not have 150 mass income. Not even close. And let's see how the naval fight will go. Tagada is in the water with the first regen upgrade. So you can see, if we look at the frigates, plus 10 per second regen on those guys, plus 15 on the destroyer, and the destroyer gets 10% on top of its max HP there. So it's as though it already has a first vet level, except it gets an even better regen score from that. So very significant boost, especially to the destroyer. But on top of the, I mean, the frigate also gets 200 extra HP and 10 per second regen. So this should make a big difference in the fight, but still more for Turbo. And yeah, Turbo's retreating away from this. He's gonna leave some units behind that get soaked up, snatched up. The problem with the ACU is, of course, it's gonna be very vulnerable in the water. He can't get T2 as regen or stands on the same arm. and he's obviously way slower than all of the naval units, so he's not a very mobile regen field here. And here we go, this is a major fight. Now he's out of the regen field, Tagada is. There's 3 destroyers now, focus firing. And also Tagada's navy is split. He's got a destroyer and frigates over here. Meanwhile, Turbo with his entire navy in the one position. His destroyer is getting focused down. It actually escapes, which is huge. Need to keep that alive so he can actually regen. But a lot of frigates going down on the front. A huge number of frigates go down for Tagada. And again, he's fighting with less than his whole navy as he's been separated. Now frigates enter the range of his destroyers, which is the worst possible thing you can see. And this destroyer's, neither of these destroyers are going to live. He could have dropped them under the surface to keep them alive, but they've actually all gone down. And now the other destroyer and frigates arrive from the left side, and this is over. This is actually just okay. He drops this one, but it's gonna die to it is definitely gonna die to the torpedoes. And that lot of good regen aura does when the micro goes like that and your navy is split in 2 positions. And that was brutal for Tagada. That was just hideous to watch. The eco looks similar, but I mean, look, we have 2. Okay, we have a 3rd destroyer and we have 13 frigates. Turbo, 4 destroyers. He has a cruiser. He has 29 frigates. Look at the veterancy on some of these destroyers as well. 4,600, 3,600, almost at 1,000. Once a cruiser arrives, especially these all the front island should go down. Turbo continues to micro. See the weaker ones a bit further back, also allowing the regen to do some work. He's going to bring the fresh destroyer in to take the front position. And here's the cruiser, begins firing. Oh, frigate comes in the side and starts massacring innocent engineers. Factory capacity goes down. Tagada probably can spend all of his massing. Oh, he actually can't. Okay, so those kills were actually a little bit valuable. And oh god, here we go. Why are there 77 interceptors? Why did both of them make 80 interceptors and no offensive units, air units whatsoever? This is just a classic case of, well, it's just faff brain, I think we'll call it. Just faff brain, where you just make hideous numbers of inties for no reason, and the other person does it as well, so it's not even a game deciding error. Oh, another destroyer goes down. Decisive, it's just walking around next to 5 or 6 destroyers. Another one. More frigates going down. And now he's just running in. He's given up. He's busy typing in chat rather than microing. In the first fight, you somehow won 3-0 and Destro GG. Well, I guess watching it back, it's pretty clear what happened. For one, the navy was split. A lot of frigates over here and 1 destroyer. The regen aura did not come into it in the beginning because Tagada had actually pushed out away from his commander. And then he had less frigates in the fight. They had 3 destroyers each. But, I mean, Tagada just left his ACU, left the regen aura. Turbo had better micro there. He actually managed to kill a lot of frigates which probably shouldn't have died. and then he just overran the destroyers, and Tagada also didn't submerge his destroyers to save them from the frigates, and the frigates just murked the destroyers, who'd already lost some HP. And the regen aura affects well, it only affects living units, so if you get your Destros sniped quickly like that, then regen aura is not a big factor. It's more so when you when you have the second regen aura, especially, it makes a huge difference. But with the first one, you gotta keep them alive. You gotta keep microing them back and forth. Maybe get them underwater till they have more HP again. But yeah, it came down to the unit positioning there, and unfortunately on Whitefire, it snowballs in an instant. A single fight has decided many a game on Whitefire. And Turbo goes through. He defends against the reverse sweep of Tagada. He goes through to the final, and we will see him in action against Nexus. Tagada will move into the third place match, and he'll play against Petrick, a rerun of the final in this summer invitational. It should be a very interesting match. I'm sure Petrick will want revenge for that loss, and Tagada will want to redeem something from the tournament, because I think he probably won't be happy with this performance. I mean, if we remember Cobalt Valley, that was a game where Tagada simply threw the game away, and it does come back to bite him in the end. As he goes out 3-2. Great series from these guys. Also, two of the newer players, so very cool to see them. I mean, newer players, they've been around a few years at this point, but still, they haven't been around, 5, 6, 7 years. So yeah, good stuff. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the series and the casting so far. Click on all the links and stuff, and yeah, go play some ladder, go play some FAF. Get ready for Legends of Stars. It's coming soon. The first qualifier is probably will already be completed by the time this is up, so stay tuned for second, third, fourth qualifier, last chance qualifier, and then the championships whenever they will be. I think somewhere around the beginning to the middle of December this year, rather than Christmas and New Year's. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one, guys.